my wife, Kay, and I have been together for 7 years, married for 4. For most of that time, I genuinely thought we were solid. Not perfect, sure, who is, but stable. We had our routines, our inside jokes, our weekly date nights. I'm not trying to paint us as some fairy tale couple, just giving the context that this wasn't some obviously doomed from the start thing. But around 5 months ago, something started to shift. It was subtle at first, missed calls, late nights at work, snappy comments out of nowhere. Kay has always had a bit of a sharp edge, but suddenly it was like everything I said annoyed her. If I asked when she'd be home, she'd snap back with, "Why do you care? You're not my dad." Little stuff, but it felt off. I kept telling myself she was just stressed. Her job had gotten crazier, and she was always complaining about her boss. But even then, it felt like I was watching someone unplug themselves from our life, inch by inch. And I guess this is where everything starts. I noticed the cracks long before I understood what they meant. The first real red flag hit on a random Thursday night. Kay came home way later than she said she would, like past midnight, and walked in smelling like a mix of cheap perfume and some citrusy body spray I didn't recognize. She brushed past me like I was a lamp in the hallway, muttered something about work drinks running late, and went straight to the shower. I'm not a jealous guy by nature, so I tried to keep it cool. But the whole time she was showering, my brain wouldn't stop poking at the details. She doesn't even like the people she works with. How would work drinks suddenly become a thing she'd do until midnight on a weeknight? When she came out, wrapped in a towel, she acted annoyed that I was even awake. "Why are you staring at me like that?" she said, rolling her eyes so hard it looked painful. "I was just worried," I told her. "You didn't answer your phone." She snorted, actually snorted, and said, "Oh my God, are you seriously doing this? My phone died." "Calm down." Her phone was sitting on the nightstand, fully charged, screen lighting up with notifications. That's when the first real pit formed in my stomach. But I still told myself I was imagining things. Because at that point, believing my wife might lie to me felt worse than believing her crappy excuse. A week later, the second red flag practically slapped me across the face. I was grabbing laundry from the couch when her phone buzzed. Normally I don't check her phone, I've always believed in privacy, but the screen lit up with a message preview that said, "Last night was amazing. Same time tomorrow?" Face-blowing kiss. My stomach fell through the floor. I froze. I stared. I blinked like maybe my brain was glitching. The name wasn't saved, just a number. When I picked up the phone, the screen instantly locked. She had changed her passcode. When I asked her about it later, still trying to be calm, she snapped, "Why are you touching my phone? That's controlling and creepy." I didn't even get to ask who the number was. She shut the conversation down so hard it felt like running into a wall. After that, everything became an argument. If I asked why she was home late, "Stop interrogating me." If I mentioned the message, "I don't know what you think you saw, but it wasn't that." If I tried to explain how I felt, "You're being dramatic. Maybe go to therapy or something." She never talked to me like this before. She twisted every concern into something wrong with me. I started doubting my own memory, my own judgment. It's embarrassing to admit now, but I actually apologized to her more than once. Then something unexpected happened. My buddy Mark pulled me aside after we grabbed lunch. He asked, "Everything okay with you and Kay?" I asked why, and he hesitated before saying, "I think I saw her getting into some guy's car outside that bar downtown. She didn't see me." My heart stopped. She had told me she was at a team meeting. I wanted to believe Mark was mistaken. But deep down, a part of me cracked open. Something ugly. Something afraid. After that, I started noticing everything. Her new lingerie she claimed she bought for herself. The sudden gym obsession, even though she's always hated working out. her constantly clutching her phone like it was some sort of life support machine. Then the receipts. One in her coat pocket for a dinner for two. One in her glove compartment from a hotel bar. Every time I asked, she doubled down with bigger lies. That's from weeks ago. I had lunch with coworkers. Wow, you're really losing it. The breaking point came on a Saturday morning. She left for an early meeting, but she forgot her laptop at home. She texted me asking if I could bring it to her workplace. I drove over. No car. No meeting. No K. I sat in the parking lot for 20 minutes, staring at the empty spot where her car should have been. That's when anger finally pushed through the fog of denial. I opened Find My iPhone. Her location pinged at a hotel on the other side of town. My hands went numb. But I drove. Seeing her walk out of that hotel with some guy, laughing, touching his arm, tossing her hair, it felt like someone dropped me from a rooftop. She wasn't crying. She wasn't conflicted. She wasn't even surprised to see me. She just frowned. Like I was the one ruining her day. And the guy? He just looked uncomfortable and walked away without a word. I asked, "How long?" She rolled her eyes. "Seriously? Can we not do this right here?" "How long?" She sighed dramatically and said, "You're acting like a child. We're just friends." I laughed, actually laughed, because she had walked out of a hotel room at 10 a.m. with a guy. She snapped, "Fine, whatever. We slept together. Happy now?" God, you're so exhausting. Happy? I felt like my chest was collapsing inward. Once the truth was out, she completely spiraled. "It only happened once." "Okay, twice." "Okay, a few times. He understands me in ways you don't. It's because you've been distant. I wasn't even sure I loved you anymore. You pushed me to this." Every sentence felt like getting stabbed with a new type of knife. For days I couldn't eat. Couldn't sleep. I'd go to work, stare at my computer, and read the same sentence 50 times. My chest hurt constantly. My stomach twisted every time my phone buzzed, terrified it was another lie, another excuse. I cried once, hard, when I found our wedding photos buried in the closet. She had shoved them there. I felt stupid. Naive. Replaceable. Then something inside me shifted. It was quiet, like a click. A realization. I deserved better than this version of her. Better than someone who treated me like an inconvenience, like a plan B, like a punching bag for her lies. She came home one night acting annoyed that I wasn't over it yet, and instead of breaking down, I felt nothing. Nothing but clarity. I told her I wanted a separation. She exploded. Suddenly I was the villain. She said I was overreacting, ruining our marriage, throwing everything away. But the truth was, she already had. I packed a bag, stayed with Mark for a bit, and contacted a lawyer the next morning. The moment I signed the initial paperwork, my whole body felt lighter. We're currently in the middle of the divorce process. She's still trying to paint herself as the victim, to friends, to family, to whoever will listen. But honestly, I don't care anymore. The weirdest part is the relief. Like I've been underwater for months and finally broke the surface. I'm rebuilding. Slowly. But with more peace than I've had in a long time. If you're reading this and seeing signs, real signs, not paranoia, please don't ignore them the way I did. Trust your instincts. Listen to the tone of your partner's voice, not just their words. And never let someone make you feel crazy for noticing the truth. I learned that love can't survive without honesty. And no matter how much you care about someone, you don't have to stay where you're disrespected. I'm still healing, but I'm also finally free.